What's up everyone, and welcome back to HateWatchers. Today we're doing our breakdown and review of the penultimate episode of the first season of the Wheel of Time, entitled The Dark Along the Ways. Let's get right into things. Spoilers ahead. We start off in the middle of a mountainside war, where a woman who is 8 months, 30 days, 23 hours, and 45 minutes pregnant is casually dominating men in hand-to-hand combat, and murdering them with ease. She gets stabbed, but the unborn baby takes the brunt of the hit and protects her, just as nature intended. With her enemies dispatched, she tries to take a relaxing dump, but gets interrupted. And that's why you always say, "Occupado." We jump back to the main characters as they traverse the ways. The group is lamenting Matt's absence, but Moraine informs them they're not supposed to use magic in this place, so they can't go back for him. Lan and Moraine talk shit about how insanely dumb the rest of the group is, even though they're only 6 feet behind them. They come across a damaged stone covered in writing. They can't go forward without reading it, and they stupidly rely on the ogre to read what it says, so the group makes camp, knowing they're in for a long night. Egwene tries to reconnect with Rand, but he pretends to fall asleep, hoping she'll leave him alone. Later, Egg hears the tranquil silence of men sleeping peacefully without her nagging, and she decides to do something about it. But before she can do anything, an incel minotaur, unseen in 4 episodes, ambushes her and she freaks out and uses magic. Everyone's annoyed with Egg, and they're forced to flee from an Africanized mosquito swarm. Once the swarm catches up to them, it gets in their faces and calls them names. And when the word Ratchet reaches Wisdom's ears, she goes ballistic and acts real Ratchet as she blasts back the bugs. Moraine opens a portal and everyone hops out of the ways just fine, despite them all breaking like the one rule of that place. They head into the nearby city, the original home of Land Chops. Here, the based Shogun totally ignores Moraine, pretending she doesn't exist. She pleads for him to listen and warns them that the Dark One has been using the ways to move his army, which we saw earlier was exactly one incel minotaur. That random black merchant guy we saw once in episode 1 comes through the waygate. Perrin gets pickpocketed and he's pretty sure it was the random merchant guy from episode 1, but half of Perrin doesn't want to racially profile someone. But Wisdom bails out his guilt by telling him that guy died. Moraine's stank ass walks into a bar and shuts it down. There's 3 seconds of silence, so Perrin just has to tell someone that he's vegan.
I don't eat chicken or beef.
The way of the leaf is simple. If the whole world followed it, we'd be much better off.
Moraine asks the Asian bartender to read everyone in the group's soul, and then Moraine says, "That's so cool," and hits on the bartender.
Don't look at me like that.
Later, everyone is talking shit on Moraine because she struck out at the bar.
Here she comes.
Moraine tells everyone that if everything goes according to plan at the Eye of the World, 3 of them will be ground to dust tomorrow. So, everyone ready to go? Egwene simply implies that she isn't the biggest fan of Matt, and Rand sees his opening, blowing it way out of proportion and using it as a pretense to finally break up. Wisdom follows Land around town like a creep, and acts so charming apparently that he invites her to eat ramen with this impossibly diverse family. Later, they reach the doorway of decisions and end up choosing their vows over a night of plows. For 10 seconds that is, until Wisdom breaks into Land's room, just hurtin' for a squirt. Rand gets better at archery as he imagines Egwene's face on the target. Then she comes down to bitch at him for her being a terrible person, before sexually assaulting him. Wisdom is putting her hair back on and trying to sneak out after taking advantage of Lan, but she decides to stick around after she learns that Lan is actually in a position to inherit a kingdom. How typical. Later, Rand lays awake in bed with Egwene, wondering if she really didn't hear him every time he said no. He can't sleep, so he gets up and heads to the bar, where the Asian bartender tells him a story about the chick from the snow at the beginning, which apparently was about Rand's birth. This and some other shit leads him to deduce that he's the Dragon Reborn. Egwene and Wisdom talk, and Egg makes sure to always keep her mole pointed at the camera. Rand shows up at Moraine's door and says,
It's me.
He's only half convinced he is the Dragon Reborn, but he sees this as his best option to escape Egwene once and for all. Moraine and Rand set off for the Eye of the World alone, and must traverse this tangled forest known as Wisdom's Bush. And the episode comes to an end. This show just has so much useless talking. This season could be about 5 30-minute episodes without losing anything of value. Is Rand the Dragon Reborn? Do I even care at this point? Well, I won't know until the next episode. When everyone was first introduced, I said, yeah, it's obviously this Hayden Christensen looking motherfucker. But of course, this show is so dumb, how can I expect them to make a reasonable decision like having him be the Dragon Reborn? Oh well, just one episode to go in Season 1 and all my questions will be answered. And I'm sure it'll just spawn a whole new batch of questions. Comment below with what you thought about this episode, and how you were feeling about things at this point in the show when you first watched it. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up if you liked the video, and subscribe to HateWatchers for more videos on the Wheel of Time, as well as videos on other shows and movies. Thank you for catching the mole with us today, and we'll catch you on the next one.